And once again, it's the BKBK podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips, and I'm here with my fellow co-hosts, Brian Taylor, Captain Kyle McKenna, and
Yep.
Kerry Idris Taylor. This is the show where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. So, guys, girls, kids, grandkids, all of that, Team BK is back with another episode. On our last episode a few weeks back, we centered things around our individual hopes and thoughts and perspectives surrounding the upcoming free agency period. Now, for today's show, this is where we're going to tackle the upcoming NFL draft. We can give you all a clearer view or just an illustration of where we're coming from, our point of view of the NFL Combine of the draft, considering that the NFL Combine just happened, so we can wrap our heads around numbers and tests and along with game tape that we've gotten throughout the course of the 2019 season, so that we know what we have with some of these prospective players. So for this episode, we're going to be portraying or projecting our draft opinion. So our approach will be interesting today. Each host is going to name their number one most desired pick for the New York Jets at the top, at the spot of number 11, and that's where the Jets are picking. And so then after that, things don't always fall our way. We're going to say, all righty, we didn't get our...
We're Jets fans, man.
Exactly, we're Jets fans.
Our way. Darn it.
Totally. So then that's why I'm glad we have this caveat here. And basically what it is, all right, we can't get our number one guy. Who would we be just satisfied with? And not, dismissing satisfied, but very happy with. It's not our number one guy, but maybe it's our 1A, and we'd be perfectly satisfied and happy with drafting that person. And then after that, we are going to talk about who we absolutely do not want because, yes, we are Jets fans. This organization is the New York Jets, and we know how to wrongfully draft. Right, Idzik? Right, McCagnon?
Sure.
Yes, we do.
Sure.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
All righty. So, as far as us being hosts of the BKBK podcast and, basically general managers in our own right, we need to give you our perspective. Okay? And we're going to do that for round 2 as well with the same criteria. We couldn't fit everything into this one episode, but hey, that's why we do multiple episodes, because the next episode after this, we're going to focus on rounds 3 through 7. So for today's show, we're going to focus on rounds 1 and 2. So I hope all of you are ready. That was a nice little talking period for me, so I'm going to let someone else start this off, okay? Kerry, you want to give it a try, or Kyle, you want to give it a try? Give us and give the audience out there the number one prospect that you want coming to the Jets at number 11.
Kyle, I'll defer to you, Kyle.
I think that this is a matter of life or death now because because the Jets killed that guy on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh my God!
I didn't see that episode, Kyle. Unpack that a little bit.
A little bit the Knicks.
Larry David went. I haven't finished watching the entire thing yet, but I heard the main thing where Larry David is talking at the guy's funeral, who apparently committed suicide because he was tired of being disappointed by the Jets.
Wow.
And I mean, that's a serious topic, something like that, which is something that Larry David and Seinfeld and all those people love to take apart, those serious topics sometimes. But I mean, it is kind of crazy when you got a guy talking at a funeral about, the season seems so promising, and then Darnold gets mono. Yeah. So yeah, it was a very Jets-centric episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and then you got JB Smooth just like making it even funnier.
Was he like cooking eggs in his kitchen or something like that when he got the news or whatever? It was crazy, man.
Yeah, it's JB Smooth is funny.
Yeah, hilarious.
So talking a lot off air about this stuff. There was a lot of the topic for this show came from the conversations that we had over the last couple of weeks, and a lot of mock drafts. I would say, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, between the four of us, we've done 50 plus mock drafts at this point.
I thought it was
least.
85,000, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
As
Yeah.
many as the print screens I've seen come through, but
without a doubt.
Yeah.
And then I've been reading a lot of mock drafts. Like the one I read last night was a mock draft in which 30 receivers are picked in rounds 1, 2, and 3. Because I guess Mel Kiper had said that 30 receivers are going to get picked in the first 3 rounds. So somebody tried to game it out and see, well, who are these 30 receivers?
It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. 30 receivers. I mean, sometimes things like this happen, and there's a load of talent in one position, and need around the league and all those other things. But I just think that that's going to push them back into rounds 4 and 5. And I mean, you're telling me there's no other players from other positions that can go and have a second round grade or a first round grade. I just think that once somebody drafts a wide receiver, let's say in the first round, they're not going to then go back to the well in the second round necessarily. They could, but probably not, even though there is a talented wide receiver in that round.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a rush on it, on these wide receivers. Definitely, when you have a good one picked in the second round, then there's going to be a rush for it in the second and third. And then I think that's when we'll really start to see them just flying off the board. But in the first round, I think, maybe 3, maybe 4 the most. And then the latter part of the second round, and then they may start flying from there. So 30 in the first 2 rounds? He said the first 2 or the first 3?
First 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say the first 4.
The point that I would make is that if you just do the math, if you draft 4, because I believe 4 will go in the first round.
Yeah.
And you're talking about 26 in the next 2? Like, that makes no sense. No sense at all.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope we get a few of them.
And you got to have people to guard the guys. So there's got to be some cornerbacks that get drafted too. So
I think it's Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, March 4th and 5th. Like, let's make a headline that in a relatively dead period in between the free agency and the combine. So I think that a lot of people had good combines, so that bolsters this. A lot of people ran really fast, so you have either way you're going to have a good wide receiver draft, and you may be able to get good starting wide receiver in possibly in the 3rd round.
Maybe even the 4th.
Yeah. I would say 4th or 5th round. You're still going to be able to have a starting caliber wide receiver, maybe a WR2 or 3 during that period of time. So, and there's going to be some hidden gems there too that end up in 5th round or 6th round picks and end up as starters and maybe all pros or pro bowlers at some point. So I'm really, because we have a need there, I really feel good about the draft and from a wide receiver perspective. But who's the number one guy, man? We keep kicking this around, man. Yeah. So who's the guy that if everybody is there available to you at 11, who are you going with?
I would be going with Wirfs.
Oh damn! I know I should have went first.
I would
stop second guessing yourself, daggone it.
I would be going with Wirfs because for 2 reasons. So if we do a total dud O-line wise in free agency, he's a possible plug and play at one of the tackles.
Or guard.
And a lot of or a guard, but that's the thing. He's all if we don't do a dud in free agency,
then he has to be a tackle.
Yeah. So my mocking of the manage the cap, which is another thing we've been doing pretty obsessively.
Love that.
It always has us re-signing Beachum at left tackle at as low a number as you possibly can, whether you have somebody that you're working into that spot or
my last few though, Kyle, I have not been re-signing Beachum, and now since Williams has kind of made himself somewhat available between him and Conklin, I'm like, all right, let me see if I can get one of these guys, and then I get my my lineman pick at number 11. So
Yeah, but if you don't re-sign Beecham at a horrible cap number, like you maybe make it so that you could possibly cut him if you made a trade like that. Um, that's not so bad either. There's a
Exactly.
lot of different things you could do there. But to me, it feels like Beecham in this market right now, especially when probably the best guy that we can go out and get is not a left tackle. He's a right tackle, and I think we all want Conklin and hope that we can get him. Um,
But if you
I
get
think
Trent
that
Williams, then you can just slide Beecham over to the right side. No.
So I think a couple things, a couple questions. So
Yeah.
first of all, with regard to the left tackle with Beecham, do you have Jason Peters as an option instead of Beecham?
Mm.
So
I never sign him in the mock. I never sign him in the mock. I don't even go that direction. He's
So-
too old.
And that was my point.
Well, I mean, you're going to sign Beecham to a 1-year deal, maybe a 2. You're not going to
Probably
have
a
him.
2.
You're not going to have him there
I
for
signed him to a
1+1.
to a low.
Yeah, to me, it's like a 1+1.
When
right?
I have no intention, I have no intention of ever having him there for year 3.
So I mean,
Right.
and so if you're considering that, you're talking about a year, maybe 2 years. You might end up cutting Beecham at that point or replacing him. Why wouldn't you sign the number 6 Pro Football Focus tackle in the league for that period of time? I mean, it's not like he fell off last year, and we're talking about. Yeah, I get it, age-wise, but
didn't he have injury issues too?
Last year he did.
Missed a little time.
But he's still highly ranked. He's still a Pro Bowl type of player. Not even Pro Bowl type. He is a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah,
Right.
And
ability
he's a
and
force.
availability.
But the fact of him being a left tackle,
Yep.
going to be 39 years old in the 2020 season, it does basically. I would sign him, but only a 1-year deal. I'm not investing anything more than that.
Well, he's going to be 39 in January. So let's be clear about that. It's not
okay. So he'll be 38 for the 2020 season.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
unless we make it in the playoffs, and hopefully that it's still the 20.
With the Jets, bro.
Yeah.
With the Jets.
Yeah,
He'll be 39 when we're in the
Funny,
Super Bowl.
funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think it's an option. I think we all, if it doesn't cost us too much, Trent Williams is the guy we probably want at left tackle. Can we all agree on that one?
Yes,
Sure.
but he's got an injury history as well. He hasn't played 16 games. I think the last time I did that was 2013.
What's the price for Trent Williams? What are we trading for Trent Williams?
I mean,
third round pick max. I'm not giving him a 2. I'm not giving him a 1.
And I'm not giving it to him this year.
Wow, not happening.
Whoa.
Check you out.
I mean, I threw out there a trade down scenario last night that I kind of liked with the Packers. That got us a first round draft pick next year, then had us picking 30th and 62nd with our additional picks.
And who?
I kind of didn't like it, Kyle, because I don't think we got enough for dropping all the way down from 11 to 30. I think
that's a lot of draft capital we passing up.
Exactly. A lot.
Yeah, I know. We have a lot of holes to fill too,
Right.
and
Yeah, I get that.
and again, I said that with the caveat that if all of the tackles that we're talking about are off the board. So let me finish with
go ahead.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
so Wirfs is who I pick if I have my pick of the 4 tackles that I'm identifying now, whether it's Wirfs, Becton, Wills, or Thomas. Now, I think that what a lot of people aren't talking about really is that Becton is not a left tackle. He was a right tackle in college, and that everybody is just so easily, like plug and playing him in his huge frame in left tackle, and I think that might be a little bit of an issue. Although, if he's playing behind somebody and working into that spot, not so much. But if one of those 4 guys is not there, I'm going immediately to the Judy or Lamb. Like Judy or Lamb are the people that I wouldn't be so upset with if we pick those. I liked Lamb better than Marquise Brown last year. We've talked about that. I think he's a more complete receiver, and
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be so upset with that. Again, that has a lot to do with what we do in free agency also. Um, and whether we re-sign some of our own free agents or go out and get another receiver, whether we pick somebody that high. I'm not on the Ruggs train.
Not at all.
Yeah, like I think his combine hyped him up a little bit. Yeah, he's fast. I think he'll be a good receiver, but I don't put him in the same category as those other two. I do like Chenault though, but I don't know if I like
Absolutely.
Chenault at pick 11.
No.
Sorry, Kyle. To me, Ruggs is just a more complete version of Robbie Anderson. You know, the straight line, kind of fast. Because honestly, Robbie does have good hands, but Robbie isn't the most complete route runner. He doesn't complete the route tree, so to speak. And I
Yeah.
don't think Ruggs does as well. I think Ruggs is more elusive. He cuts a little bit better. Excuse me. And I think that their hands are probably the same. I've always liked Robbie's hands, but I think he's just I think he's better than Robbie, but I think he's in the same family. He's cut from the same cloth. So I value Judy and Lamb more than I do Ruggs. So that's my rationalization of it.
Yeah, I don't. When I look at that spot, and I think we're all on the same page here, right? I think we're all on the same page as far as the tackles are concerned.
Right.
I think we all want Wirfs number one, and
Yeah.
then we'll take any of the other tackles at 11 if we stay
Mhm.
there. I think
Uh-huh.
where we differ is if CeeDee Lamb and Judy are both there. CeeDee Lamb is my guy. Um, did you see the catch that he made at the combine, which obviously by far was the best
Yep.
catch
Mhm.
that anybody made there? That's the reason why I want him as opposed to Judy. Contested catches, because that's what you're going to see out there in
Right.
the league.
Right.
And when you think about who's the guy on Houston, the wide receiver on Houston?
Hopkins.
Oh,
Yes,
Hopkins. Yeah.
that's who
Yeah.
he reminds me of.
Mhm.
Of
Yeah.
DeAndre
Absolutely.
Hopkins.
I agree.
Throw it up there. Doesn't matter if I'm
No,
covered. Doesn't matter if I have two people on me. I'm still
Mhm.
going to catch the ball, and I look at him that way. So that's a
right.
number one receiver, somebody that, regardless of where we are down in distance and all that, he always can make a play on the football. So he's my guy. If I'm sitting there at 11 and I have Judy there and CeeDee Lamb is gone and all four of those tackles are gone, I'm going to pick up the phone and listen to trade offers potentially
Wow.
because I think Judy is good.
I think he's better than good. I'm taking Judy as like I do agree with Lamb, but I'll take Judy in a minute if none of those five prospects that we're talking about and we're giving high value to is there. I
I
was
think.
just watching his highlights last night
Mhm.
before I went to bed. The dude, first of all, he runs a 4.45,
Okay.
so that's he's faster than CD Lamb. He catches just as well. May not do all the acrobatic stuff, but the dude, the way that he can just get open just by running every route on the route tree and creating space. I saw him just running his route, spinning dudes around, catching the ball, and then advancing for 20 more yards on top of what he just did.
So, but
So
let me say this though. So,
yeah,
and I saw this on the outline as well. When you look at we're going to talk about the second round, so I'm kind of opening up a can of worms here. But when you look at a T Higgins,
yes,
or to me, a Justin Jefferson, who you could probably get in the second round, who had
yep,
111 catches,
yeah.
1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns, and you can get that guy in the second round, then why am I at that point in time taking Judy? I don't
I
think
agree.
he
I
is
agree.
that much of a difference maker
Uh-huh.
versus the other wide receivers that are available. That's when you get into 30 wide receivers. I mean, there's other people that we can
Well,
get
you know what,
at
Brian?
that point.
Here it is. I just think that you and I are looking at it like you then if you examine what you just said,
Yep.
you are looking much higher um, at CD Lamb than you are of Judy. I think you think Judy's very good. I think you think that Lamb is like excellent. He's like an A plus and Judy's maybe like an A minus, you know? But I look at Lamb as an A plus and I look at Judy as like an A, borderline A plus as well. So I look at them being closer in value than say you are. So
Yep.
I hear what you're saying about maybe getting a Jefferson or maybe getting
T Higgins.
T. Higgins.
T Higgins or whatever in the second round. But my value for both of those receivers, they're borderline equitable.
I mean, I'll double down I'll double down on the offensive tackle thing, where it's like if I'm not getting one of those tackles, whether it's Judy or CD Lamb, I I would want to trade out of that spot, even even if CD Lamb's available. I'm listening to trading out of that spot because I think that there's receivers and there's offensive linemen that you can get at the other end of the first round or the second round. Actually, for the offensive tackles, I'd probably wait till the second round. But there's a lot of
Kyle,
receivers.
I think the talent pool for the offensive tackles that we're looking at after our
Yeah.
four,
It drops
our top
significantly
four, exactly what Kerry's
from
saying,
the
it
top two.
drops significantly. It really
Oh,
does.
it does, but
You're saying
that's
top
the
two, huh,
part
Kerry?
that's the part that's out of our control, though. Is
Well,
if in
well,
that 1 through 10, if four of those guys are picked, what are we going to do about that?
I understand that, but that's why, like, I would look to trade down as well. Like, I don't mind that at all. But there's no way that I'm going to try to trade down to 30. Like, I would trade down to 18 or
15.
something like that. And then I could get the tackle out of Houston, Josh Jones, or I can get the tackle out of USC. I forget his last name. It's Jackson, but I forget his first name. I think
Austin
um,
Jackson.
Austin Jackson. So those two are the next two in line. Austin Jackson, then Josh Jones, in that order after our top four offensive tackles. And they could be at the latter part or in the middle or the middle part of the first round. But after that, it's gonna be a significant drop. So I don't think we can wait until the second round to address the offensive tackle position. We just can't.
I would agree with you on that. As far as the tackles are concerned, I would definitely listen to the scenario based on what you guys are saying in terms of all four of the tackles being taken and one of the receivers. Then you're going to be able to trade out of that spot because somebody else is going to want C.D. Lamb or Jerry Judy, depending
Or
upon
Isaiah Simmons.
or
Sure.
Isaiah Simmons.
Sure.
The reason that I don't
Yeah.
draft Isaiah Simmons at that spot is that we need so much more than just what he can do at three defensive positions.
But a
You know,
lot of people are going to want him.
I recognize that, and
Yeah.
as a result, we'll be able to get significant draft capital. But what I would want to trade out of that spot is a middle third, first round pick, and at least another second round pick.
It could be in the latter part of the second round too.
That
Um,
trade scenario that I put up last night had 2 first-round picks.
Well,
It had
one
a
was
It had
30.
it
a
had
It had a
it had a
30.
swap. It had a swap, and it had a first-round pick next year.
But
And
next year. But my point is that I need things. I need toys for my quarterback right now.
You're already a toy boy.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Those jokes should be saved for off mic. This is what I'm saying.
Very true.
But anyway, so the point that I'm making is, well, before I do that, that trade that you had, Kyle, was a 30 and a what?
Number
30. It was,
76.
it was no, it's 30, 62, and it was a first-round draft pick next year.
62.
So
My bad.
62
So
in the third round.
then you're
I need something for this year.
No.
But-
62 was in the second round. End of the second.
It's in the second round, and we already have a second-round pick. That would mean we'd have a late first.
You sure it wasn't 76,
Two-
Kyle?
No, 62.
Okay.
Okay.
We had that would mean we would have had a 30 a first round pick at 30.
A
We would have
48.
two second round picks and 2 third-round picks and a first round pick next year.
I'm not mad at the capital that you're bringing back, Kyle. I'm really
No, that's
not.
that's a Belichick move right there.
I just think CeeDee Lamb is that good. So again, Judy, sure, I might entertain that trade that you're referring to and get all that draft capital, especially that first round pick next year. Because honestly, fellas, as much as we want to talk about Sam Darnold and all these other things as far as being that guy, if we do all of these things, what is this going to say if he's not bringing us where we want to go?
100%.
right?
Yeah,
Now,
that's a big question, right?
So now next year, what are we talking about? We're talking about drafting another quarterback, and we might need that first round pick in order to move up.
We might want to draft another quarterback late in this draft.
I'm not
Um,
thinking
I'm not
another
picking another
quarterback. I'm
right
not
now.
thinking.
No.
Me neither. I'm
No,
with you, Terry.
I'm
No
all in. I'm
way.
pushing my chips to the middle of the table.
Me too.
Because
No,
because I want to evaluate what he's going to,
Sure.
what he's capable of
Sure.
right now. I don't have any tomorrows.
I'm not
I
talking
need to
about
see-
it based on Darnold's performance. I'm talking about it based on the fact that we don't have a backup quarterback.
Yeah,
Hold on,
exactly.
Kerry. First of all, I love what you said. You sounded like Apollo Creed. There is no tomorrow. That was so hot. I wish you said it like that, though. I kind of wish you said it like that, but I've always loved that line from Apollo Creed. There is no
What's the matter
tomorrow.
with you, Rock?
Yeah,
Right.
let's smack these GMs around and tell them there is no tomorrow. That's what I want to come to, bro. I'm with you, Gary.
I want to give this quarterback every opportunity
Sure.
to succeed.
Sure.
And
He's
that's
our
why,
franchise.
right? And that's why I want to make sure that we have the best
Line.
product around him, and that starts with the line, and it ends with the receivers. And you can splash in a little bit of AJ Dillon if you want to get him in the later rounds, but we haven't had that. We haven't had that because of whatever reason, because of things that he's done or because of things that we've done. And
yeah, like kissing chicks, you know what
right.
I'm saying? So
Kissing
that
chick-
could be
right.
part
That's
of
something
it.
that he did. Right.
You're making big assumptions.
Something that we
big
did.
assumption.
Right.
Huge
Something.
assumption.
Well, that's a big assumption, but something that we did was not have, or something that the Jets did was not have, a good offensive line to protect this guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I'm with
let's get it. Let's get it. And having a another high round pick next year doesn't sell that for me.
Got you. So hey, let me just keep things moving. So Kyle, we've already talked about Wirfs, okay?
Yeah.
The big time product out of Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who is your happily satisfied pick if there is no Wirfs?
Yeah, that's the Judy or Lamb pick.
Okay.
And then I throw down the stairs any D line pick, anywhere
Wait. Back it up,
edge.
Kyle. Back it up, Kyle. So you're saying Wirfs is your number one. Then
Yes.
So you're saying CeeDee Lamb is your number two?
No, I'm saying
okay.
that if all the tackles I
tackles are
mentioned,
gone. Gotcha.
yeah. So my big thing is that I will not reach on the top 4 tackles. I'm not going to go to pick number 11 with somebody that I don't think deserves it.
Josh
And
Jones
who's that?
or Austin Jackson.
Like give me an example.
Like I'm not going like I'll pick Thomas at that pick. Andrew Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pick Wills. I'll pick Becton.
Okay.
I'll pick Wirfs. I won't pick the kid from USC. I won't pick Pert from UConn.
Right.
I'm not just going to pick an O tackle to pick one.
Yeah.
Not
Agreed.
at all.
Agreed.
Like,
I think
we
we're on the same
all
page
agree
with
with that.
Yeah.
So then if those guys aren't available, I would be happy with a Lamb or a Judy. I would not be upset about that. I would be extremely upset if a D lineman is picked, any D lineman.
Sure.
What about
edge.
what about a corner?
If it's not a Kunda,
Well, he's not dropping to 11.
You never know.
So,
I mean, right now he's going like number 7 in some of these mock drafts out there. So you never know. You might be facing that decision at that point. And then what? What say you, Kerry?
I'm not picking him.
Thanks, Kerry. I appreciate that.
I hope you got a single of Kerry's face.
I really hope that we're not in a situation where that's our biggest need on the board, and best player available situation.
Well, here's the thing. This is a scenario that could happen.
It could.
If the Jets sign Conklin, right? The Jets sign Conklin.
Yep.
And the guard from, forgive me because I forgot his name.
Pats
from New England.
Yeah.
Right.
Tunny.
Right.
Yeah.
Tunny, whatever.
Right.
Dundunny.
So then there would definitely be an opportunity for some of these other teams to move up to draft a tackle ahead of
Yes.
us, right? So in that instance, it could be a likely scenario that all 4 of those tackles are gone by the time that we draft at 11. We don't get the trade opportunity because nobody's offering us anything. Then and you have to stay at that position. Who do you then pick?
And you can't trade. I'm picking a wide receiver before I pick
a corner?
a cornerback. Here's the thing: is our franchise. Here it is.
This
no.
is, and I
want
to know why. I want to hear this.
I'm gonna tell you, and
Yeah.
I'm looking right into the camera.
Right.
Looking right into the camera, and I'm
Please
gonna tell you
do.
straight up.
Please do.
Here it is. Boom.
What?
You ready?
Boom.
Yeah,
Our
listening.
franchise. Do you want to know what our franchise is? It's Sam Darnold. We have to equip our franchise and put our franchise in the best case scenario to win. I have the utmost confidence in our defensive coordinator. He made lemonade out of the lemons that he was given, and he may just have to do a little bit more of that this year. But I don't believe in Gase as much, So what I need to do is to equip someone that I do believe in, Sam Darnold, and equip him as best as I can.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if we don't have the capacity to trade down, and all 4 of our offensive tackle options are gone, I'm going with Lamb and then Judy.
No, but
or
I said,
Judy,
but I said
in
with
that
the
order.
scenario of us getting what we wanted in free agency. So you got Conklin and the guard that I mentioned.
But you still
that's the thing.
Bereft of wide receivers at that point in time too.
Right,
so
right.
you can't handle it all in free agency.
But I could still get possibly a guy like Chenault in the second round.
No,
I don't think he's going to drop in the second.
You could get him at 18, 19, 20. But I don't know. How much do you guys know about Chenault?
He's like a running back and a wide receiver body.
He can play. He's like a Tyreek Hill. Like he can play any position, any of the skill positions. And like a wildcat quarterback and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a beast player.
Yeah.
So he would be a really nice addition. Kind of like I've been talking a lot about Lynn Bolden. Lynn Bowden.
I saw him playing too, man.
I got him in my third.
Good.
He's in my third round.
Yeah, Lynn Bowden is one of those guys that they say if he had played quarterback the entire year and had statted up at quarterback the entire year, that he might have been a Heisman candidate. And he was a very accomplished receiver before that. He's a little bit of a hothead, though. He kind of has a little bit of that Robbie Ant. He punched somebody in the face in the pregame of the bowl game, which and then played the whole game, which I thought was interesting. That you could just do that, but he didn't even get a flag because it was in pregame. Yeah, look it up. Look it up. It was like the Bahamas Bowl or something like that. But he straight up punched somebody in the face and then had like 400 all-purpose yards. But he's intriguing, and the way that we do these mocks, they don't really have a lot of nuance to them, as far as like human being and human thought and trades and stuff like that. So you could get a guy like that anywhere from third to
pay money for that.
Third to sixth.
You just got to pay money.
Oh, that's the premium service.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that Chenault's really interesting, but to go back to what Kerry's saying though, if I really want to trade out of the pick, if I'm in that situation where I'm not, we've taken care of it, we've taken care of receiver a little bit and O-line a lot in free agency.
Who'd you take care of the receiver with? Oh, with Robbie? So you taking care of the receiver position is signing Robbie? Is that what you mean?
I see Robbie. I try to look at Robbie as like he's a free agent, not like he's somebody on our team. So if we sign him at a very manageable cap number, with full transparency of what his skill set is, and we get it at that like $8 to $9 million range per year. Whether it's not, I'm saying if.
Yep, if I get it.
I'm saying if. Then I'm still looking for a number one receiver because he's not a number one receiver.
So
I can draft that CeeDee Lamb, Judy at 11.
Sure.
And and feel real good about it, and also possibly draft a potential number one receiver down the line in the third round or the fourth round, even with a deep draft like this, or a slot. Like I would probably go for somebody to complement Crowder.
All right.
Like Bowden or somebody like that. But
so
I would really like, if I'm not getting an offensive tackle or one of those receivers, I really want draft capital from that pick and not the 11th pick.
So Kyle, let's quickly move on to who you said that you'd want to kick down a flight of stairs, and we're not talking about the player itself because these players work hard. We're talking about the Jets organization making that decision that you would be highly against.
So for me, it's really not a name as much as it is the position. Yeah. So I mean, I've looked at these different D tackles that they have going in the first couple rounds. To pull this up real quick, that's really what I want to stay. I want to stay away from like a Derek Brown from Auburn. Like if they had the opportunity, even if he fell to 11, because a lot of people think he's going to be a top 10 pick. I don't want that. Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah.
Done. Oh my God! If Javon Kinlaw's name is the one that's called at pick number 11, I'm gonna have to take a long walk around the block. I might walk into the water.
You know that. And what about what is it? Kaylavon Chason. He sounds like he's Cajun or something. I think he went to LSU, so it fits.
I don't want to draft an edge whose draft profile says needs to work on his pass rushing repertoire.
Right. I'm not doing it.
No, thank you.
So Kyle, so here's the thing. So let's move on to if
run stopper. Don't give me a run stopper in
So wait. So B. Let's sit here for a second though. I just want to go right back to the last conversation. I think in general for me, it's all of defense that I don't want to pick a defensive player in that spot. The only thing and caveat that came up was this cornerback from Ohio State, Okunda. Right.
Okay.
And I didn't think about it until now. I don't know. I just
there's no other corner that's even near rated to him.
Here's the thing, guys. So we were going to go individually, but I think we're so much on the same page. Right, yes. I'm happy to pause here, Brian, and really, what's the phrase I'm going to use? Unpack.
Yes.
All righty.
You already used it today, though. By the way.
Yes, I know I used it already. It's part of the lexicon of Brandon Phillips, and I'm happy with that. I love it.
He just got home from a trip.
Know that. I got some words for you, man. I got some words for you. I'm borderline. Hey, I'm borderline hooked on phonics. All right. So, yeah. So okay. So we can pause here.
Yeah.
For me personally. Like I agree with everything that Kyle said. We're on the same page. Like I said, we're all on the same page. I have worse, and then in this order though, my 1A will be Wills, who I absolutely love out of Alabama. Then it'll be Becton. Then it'll be Thomas. And then basically it's like I don't want to see any defensive players. I don't even want to see cornerback. So we can go back to this cornerback thing. I don't want to see any defensive player before I pick, to be honest with you. If I get my choice of any one of those 4 O-linemen at 11, and then in the second round that we're going to be moving on to next, if I were to get like a wide receiver there, like I don't need to even touch defense until the third round. And it could even be the second pick in the third round.
Yeah, I'm not.
How about that?
I'm not mad at you. So it's a deep cornerback draft as well, from what I understand, what I've read up on.
You don't have as many heavy hitters as you do in the wide receiver and in the O-line.
Yeah, of course.
It is deep, but you're not just going to get bona fide like plug and plays starting with potential Pro Bowl caliber out of this cornerback unit outside of the first 2 picks.
But peep this scenario, and I didn't have this scenario up running at all until you guys put this dude's name out here, right? So we get Okunda, right? Potentially, which is one of the top. Okay. So top positions on a football field: cornerback, pass rusher,
edge, right.
pass rusher,
You're not listing this in order, right?
Left tackle. No, not in order.
Okay,
not in order.
okay.
But
the top three.
Yeah. Left tackle. Quarterback. Yeah, we already got that supposedly, right? Yeah.
You're listing them.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Quarterback. Okay. All right. So you got those four, right? I mean,
Yes.
okay. So you got four. So now you got your cornerback. We got Bless Austin. You got Poole. Maybe you re-sign. So now that cornerback room looks a whole lot better than it did before, right? Whole lot better than it did before. Then second round, you still gotta, we're gonna kind of go right into that second round. You still got a T. Higgins potentially. You still got a Justin Jefferson potentially that you can throw in there. Maybe you sign Robbie Anderson, like Kyle mentioned before, and now you've taken care of both sides of the ball with a nice wide receiver because it's a deep draft. So you're still not compromising much, in my opinion, right? But then you get this guy too, so you take care of the other side of the ball.
What you're saying is that
you haven't said O-line yet.
The assumption is that we've signed 2 O-linemen.
I'm saying
in free agency.
I'm saying if the tackles are gone, right? So let's be clear about what I was stating. Tackles are gone. All 4 tackles are gone.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
So now you got a CeeDee Lamb, a Judy, or a Kunda conversation or decision to make at that point in time. And what are you doing?
I'm either.
You're saying you get.
And you're saying you
what are
can't
you
trade down?
saying you would do?
I don't know, but when I think, because again, I might actually pick the cornerback at that point.
No way.
I think so.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I think
I'm not doing it.
I think so.
I'm not doing it.
I
No
mean,
way.
and it's a scenario that I didn't think of until just now, bro. I'm not even looking at his name. I
You
know
weren't
he's
saying
that
this
good.
last week. You weren't saying this the week before.
Because
We
he
gotta
wasn't
stay
available.
focused.
He wasn't available.
No, we got to stay focused,
He
man,
wasn't
on this
available.
offense.
Dude,
Because he was top
He
top
available.
3. Because he was top 3.
Right,
Brandon.
top 3. You're talking about a top 3 guy.
he
Your
drops
position
you at
rank is number
11.
3. What are we talking about? If he drops,
I have
that's
never
all I'm saying.
seen him go past 8.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Me neither.
So this is a scenario
8.
that could never happen. I'm not trading up for the dude. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But it looks like Kerry's kind of saying that, like he might even trade up if he drops to 8.
You two Taylor brothers need to stop. Y'all two Taylor brothers need to
No.
This is some you're on some D-back stuff right now. The two of you.
Funny.
For real.
Funny. No. But listen to what I'm saying though. And again, it wasn't a scenario I've ever thought of until now. I'm not.
You just had an epiphany now.
I didn't create this.
You had your Jets epiphany right now.
I haven't even looked the dude's name up, but I know he's awesome, right? But that's okay. If he drops to 11, I have a real decision to make at this point in time.
And all four offensive tackles
are
have been
gone.
taken because
are gone.
he would drop to
right.
11
if they're gone.
The likelihood is that that scenario could happen.
Okay.
No,
at that point.
no, I don't think so.
How about this? So then you would have.
No, I agree.
So guys. All right, Brian. So let's just say that's the case,
yes,
right?
I'm saying
so. Then
case. All right.
You would have the best cornerback.
Yep.
All righty.
Yep.
Available, and then you would also have the best wide receiver available, who you've named as CeeDee Lamb, right?
Yeah.
And you have a quarterback that has all the potential in the world.
And I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out in the draft room, bro. I'm freaking out right now. And my head is exploding. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, exploding. You know what?
But you know what, Brian? As a GM, you're going to have to calm all that down and make a deliberate decision. What decision are you going to make? Are you going to arm your quarterback with the best wide receiver in the draft, or are you going to get a cornerback, albeit the best one in the draft?
At this point in time, sitting here, if that dude is there, I'm picking the cornerback. Knowing that this draft is that deep, I can get a Mims from Baylor who ran a 4.3 and is 6'4", and has the stats behind it. I can get him in the 4th round or 5th round.
You don't know that.
I know enough from this to say, you know what, he's not ranked anywhere in the first 2 or 3 rounds, so I can only go off of what
He's ranked in the 2nd round, Mims is. Because
I haven't seen him in many mock drafts in the 2nd round, to be honest.
I was doing like 4 of them last night. He was all there.
You're certainly not going to get that corner in the 2nd round.
No, you're not.
Anywhere near it.
Not at all. So if Mims is and I can get him in the 2nd round, I have a choice of Mims. I have a choice of Jefferson. I have a choice of maybe even Higgins at that point in time. If I got that choice in the 2nd round, I don't have that choice in the 2nd round from a cornerback perspective, and I still
I'll tell you what. The times like where I'm drafting my O lineman, and you guys can see my draft because I've been throwing them out there. Have you guys noticed that I've always doubled up on my wide receivers? I made sure that I got at least 2
I'm with that.
in the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, but the thing is for me, here it is.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold's going into year 3.
Yep.
Okay? If you don't equip him now, then it's going to be talk about, well, he's not doing enough. Year 4 is coming up, and maybe or maybe not renewing him for that 5th year or whatever it is. I don't want to hear any mumblings when we haven't given Sam Darnold the groceries to cook with. You see what I'm saying? Let the boy cook. And we're not doing that if we get a cornerback, albeit, the best cornerback in the draft. And then you also have the best wide receiver, a weapon for our franchise. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, if we get the best O lineman in the draft, he's a weapon. He's like Secret Service for our president. You know what I'm saying?
Throwing people out
Sam
the club.
Darnold being the president, and he's like the top man holding him down, bodyguard style. You know what I'm saying? So that preserving him so that he can push forward our franchise. I can't even wrap my head around anything else other than providing weapons and protection for our franchise, which is Sam Darnold, because I think he has the potential to not be good, but to be a top 5 quarterback if you allow him to develop. And how do you allow him to develop? Coaching and weapons and protection. This is why I can't stand Gase.
Well. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Oh, no,
had to happen at least once.
There you go. We're not going to go on that tangent. With Brian's scenario, I do agree with you, Brandon, with regard to the groceries and cooking and all of that kind of stuff. But clearly, you know about cooking and eating. But
funny.
Oh, shot across the bow.
Right,
wow.
Across the bow.
Wow.
I would definitely take Okuda if he's there if this is a big if.
Yeah.
If I have signed Conklin and Dooney.
Okay, well, Conklin, you already saw the reports. Conklin,
I don't want to hear about the reports. We know those reports.
No, you don't. I don't think you
I don't
do
want
know
to hear
them.
any of that.
No. You're gonna hear it.
I don't want to hear any of that. I don't want to hear any of that because
no.
Like I told you in the
Stop with
thread.
this whole self-denial stuff. You gotta
Like I said in the thread. The issue that I have with these reports is that nothing's final until the ink is dry, and I don't want to hear any of that nonsense. So
exactly.
Again, so all I'm talking about is if we sign Conklin and Tooney. Then yes, I take Okuda because then I don't have to use any cash.
Okay.
I don't have to use any cash on a cornerback.
Okay.
In free agency.
Kerry Jehoshaphat Taylor. What will you do if? Because we said if.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If we don't get Conklin, if we don't get Thuney, and we get more of the second-rate guys, then what do you do?
Then I would probably pick up CD Lamb if he's there.
Copy that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of corners that could be signed to free agency too that could alleviate this problem before we even get to pick 11. Also,
yeah, I agree.
Jimmy Ward, who's the guy from
Dallas?
Byron Jones.
Byron Jones. Everybody thinks
bank breakers.
He's going
to cost too much money.
He's going to be Tremaine Johnson-esque.
He's better than Tremaine.
No, I'm talking about money.
Yes, he will be.
And I don't want to be in that same predicament.
Same thing with Bradbury. Same thing with Bradbury.
Yeah.
He'll be in that.
But I think Jones is at the top of the list right now.
Yeah, he's up there. He's up there. A lot of these guys. Harris, he's going to be just a notch below, even though he's in his early 30s. But cornerbacks are just utterly expensive. Cornerbacks, wide receivers.
That's why you draft them.
Pass rushers and quarterbacks and left tackles.
That's
but
why you draft them.
What did you say, Kerry? That's why you what?
That's why you draft.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right.
Yes.
Cheap labor.
Yep.
Kerry Taylor, cheap labor.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And that's why you draft. That's why you draft O linemen as well, or specifically tackles, and that's why you draft number 1 wide receivers.
No, it's not.
Let's talk about the second round.
Not in this draft.
Why not?
Yeah, I'm just joking. Second round. Just,
yeah,
we can get to the second round.
Are you saying that Amari Cooper's not going to break the bank? I mean,
I'm just joking, bro. I'm just joking.
Okay.
He's gonna get like
I'm
20
getting
mil.
serious over here. You know, you're talking about the tweet me, peek me segment. I'm gonna say it's y'all. It's
exactly. And we'll happily accept that. Let's go.
Yes, yes. So hey, so let's move on to round two because we've been sticking in round one for a while. Let's move on to round two. We've already gotten our pick. Uh, Brian got the cornerback, whatever,
Potentially.
Whatever.
And then I've got Christian Wirfs. If not Wirfs, I'm going with Wills and Becton or Thomas. And so now we're gonna go on to the second round. So guys, we've gotten our picks individually, right? We're happy, yay! We got our picks. So now, based off of your pick, who do you want in the second round with the 48th pick in the draft?
Can I jump in here with something?
Sure. Sure.
Everybody loves Hennessy. We all like Hennessy.
Hennessy.
Not in the
Both
second round.
the libation and the player.
Only if it's white Hennessy.
The libation.
Let them know who Hennessy is, Kyle, because I don't think our viewers know who Hennessy is.
So Matt Hennessy is a center out of Temple, widely thought of as a top 3 center in this draft. Center is a need position for us. Seems to always, since Nick Mangold retired, it's always been a need position for us. But as much as I love Hennessy, I don't know if pick 48 is too high a price to pay for this player.
It is.
So let me just start off the conversation with that because I think that I'm not the only one who's looking at Hennessy in this round 2-3. And sometimes you mock it out, and if you don't pick him soon enough, he's gone.
Yep.
So I'll just start it off there. What do you guys think of that? I mean, is anybody else looking at Hennessy as their second round?
I'm looking at him, but only if there are like receivers who I value highly in the second round that aren't there, And honestly, there's other good centers like Cushenberry out of LSU.
Yep.
There's another good center. You just named him before out of Michigan.
Cesar
Ruiz. So even though I do like Hennessy, they've also labeled him as probably the most athletic and the best pass blocking center. And a highly cerebral young man. I wouldn't necessarily. Basically, all the other centers would have had to go who I value highly, and then some of these receivers who I have my eye on in the second round, like Higgins, like Mims, like and like a few others. They would all have to have gone as well for me to do that. So
yeah, I'm not with that. I'm not with Hennessy in the second round. First pick in the third round, potentially.
yes,
yeah, sure,
absolutely.
I mean, we could talk about him at that point in time, but in the second round, no. I would be going again. Scenario A, we have one of the tackles, right?
Yeah.
So scenario A and scenario C, we get the tackle that we want in the first round, and we go wide receiver in the second round. And if T. Higgins is there, or Justin Jefferson are there, I would be happy with either one of those at that pick.
Would you take Mims there too?
I would not take Mims there. I would look.
I looked at Mims
in the third round. And again, I would double up on wide receiver because I know we don't want to go into the third and fourth and fifth because we're going to take that in another podcast.
Well, you take two third round wide receivers.
Well, I'm taking a second round in the third round.
In
the third round.
Yeah. I would do that.
Yeah, I do a second.
I would definitely do that. You know how hot that would be? A blue chip offensive tackle and 2 hot wide receivers in rounds 2 and the top of the 3,
and the center, and the center where too.
Where would you go? Where would you go, Brian? If we went, O-line in free agency, receiver first round. Who are you picking?
I'm taking this Bradley Haney. I'm taking this Bradley from Utah. I take the edge from Utah.
Wow. Let me double check that. So, wow.
His combine numbers weren't that great though.
I like his motor. I like his technique.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not big on the combine with specific things for specific players. So my edge, do I need him super fast in the 40? I need him quick, 0 to 10.
Right.
And I need, but I need him. I value more his technique
and his motor.
And his motor.
Understood. I like him too, though. I was just being devil's advocate, but I do like the guy a lot too. I was just, reciting some of the criticism because you go there to be criticized, basically,
Absolutely. Yeah.
to the combine.
Yeah.
So yeah, the kid's a baller, though.
Yeah, Kyle. To answer your question, if CeeDee Lamb is the guy in the first round, I might trade down in the second. Yeah, I might trade back in the second to get more picks and pick up one of those centers that you're talking about, maybe late in the second round or something like that.
Or maybe one of the offensive tackles that we were talking about, whether it be Josh Jones out of Houston or why do I keep forgetting the kid's name from USC?
Austin Jackson.
Austin Jackson.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. So if they last, and we're able to trade down and get those guys, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I like the other Georgia tackle, Isaiah Wilson.
I like him too. I do.
And but I'm a little bit partial because he's a New York kid. So
Where's he from?
I think he went to I want to say that he went to what's the school in the Bronx? Cardinal Hayes. I think he went to.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that though, but I think so.
All right.
But I remember him from recruiting and stuff like that.
I think there's going to be a rush on some of these tackles at the end of the first round too, because there's value for them at the end of the first round as opposed to higher up in the middle third of that first round.
Yeah.
That is the need too.
The Bradley Anae is also on my list as like I wouldn't be upset if they picked him, but
in the second,
in the second,
I would say
in the second.
I would say third round. I want him to. No, you don't think so?
Nah, he's not gonna be there in the third.
I would love to have him on my team, man. I think we're all on the same page with that too. I just think that in the middle or middle high of the second round is a little bit too high for him right now, in my opinion. I don't know. I think it's a reach.
I want Jordan Jenkins re-signed, and then whatever edge we're getting we're building off of that. So
I also feel like if we don't draft him in the second round, I feel like he's going to turn out to be like the guy on New England Patriots who we passed up.
Nikovic.
I feel like we're gonna hear his name a lot.
You think so? Yeah. You compare Bradley Anae to Minkovic?
No, I'm talking about in terms of we passed up
FOMO.
On this guy.
Yeah,
right, right. Fear of missing out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey guys, I'd also take a cornerback. Push come to shove. As long as we have what we need in our first round pick, as far as being a dominant left tackle, I'd take a cornerback in the second round. I would, and because Brian, you were just talking about this being a pretty good cornerback draft. There's a cornerback, AJ Terrell out of Clemson. There's a number of other cornerbacks. I think there's one out of University of Virginia that's supposed to be pretty good. Another one out on the West Coast. So I would take a cornerback in the second round, and since we have a glut of receivers, I could double up in the third. So I can go Tristan Wirfs in the first round with the 11th pick. I can go with the best cornerback available in the second round, and then our 2 third-round picks. Let's double up on these wide receivers, and we could potentially get 2 guys that can start. Starter material in the third round, since there's such a high abundance of wide receivers.
I don't like that best cornerback available in the second round scenario at all. I just don't. I don't think much of the corners past Okunda, and or as far as like capital wise, maybe. I don't know. I just there's nobody that I said, we gotta go get that guy.
There's nobody on defense that I would take in the second round unless it's Aney.
Unless it's the edge.
Unless it's that edge.
That edge. Gotcha. I mean, I'm just saying
the corners that I see are more third round guys like Jalen Johnson, Utah, AJ Green, Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And then I would draft if I'm not picking the edge in the second round, then I'm picking the best available receiver in the second round.
Well, the
You know?
cornerback that I mentioned is better than both of the cornerbacks that you just mentioned. AJ Terrell out of Clemson,
I
but
recognize that, but I would definitely
but
take
I do
the
hear what you're saying. And basically, I would prefer, like I was saying before, to stick with the offense. And this is what I was so adamant about. But I was just saying, like, push come to shove, you know what I'm saying? And I would potentially take one. But obviously, honestly, I don't even want to pick defense until the second pick in the third round for us. I want to stay all offense.
Yeah, edge is the only one that I would go at. Again, I would throw the TV down the stairs if it's a D lineman, if
You
it's a
love that
safe,
reference. You
if it's
love
a
it.
safety.
if
Um,
they touch D line before the fifth round, I'm gonna be mad. Period.
And
With
inside
the exception
linebacker.
of edge.
Yeah.
So
Safety or D tackle or inside linebacker. I'm kicking that whole organization down 2 flights of stairs. You know
I don't.
when they're rolling down the stairs and you hear ooh ooh
Sounds like it stopped, but it keeps going.
yeah.
right.
And then you throw a grenade down there and slam the door. No, I'm playing. I'm playing.
That's Gase. That's Gase you're throwing down the stairs, right?
Yes, it is.
Sure,
No,
sure.
no. I'm throwing the organization down the stairs, and then I'm throwing a grenade on top of Gase when he's. I've got
Oh
a
my
separate
gosh.
stairwell for him.
Oh wow, wow,
No, I'm playing.
wow.
I'm playing. Sorry, Gase.
So
But you do tweak me.
quick story. I did a clinic yesterday in Seattle with this guy Noel Mazzoni, who's the offensive coordinator at Arizona right now, the University of Arizona. But he was the wide receivers coach on Eric Mangini's staff, and he said that when he got fired from the Jets, he went down to Cary, North Carolina, and coached high school football. And he said, I could honestly say that I was definitely the highest paid high school football coach in the country, with the Jets still paying his salary while he coached high school football.
So
Nice.
wow.
Yeah, funny stuff. Funny stuff.
Well, I hope he's a good
Um,
coach.
he is a good coach. He's a very good offensive guy. He does
Good.
some cool stuff. Yeah, but I think second round wise, I really want Hennessy on the squad.
Me too.
And I'm gonna stay with what I've always said, pre-free agency, that I want 3 offensive line starters out of this draft.
Wow.
And or
Or
at
free
least
agency.
or at least two offensive line starters and a wide receiver starter out of the draft, or
That's what I want.
potential people. So, like we talked a lot about Worlds, but like his ability to be able to be potentially an all-pro guard. Daniel Jeremiah sees him as a better guard than a tackle. And I've talked about this guy, Logan Stenberg, who I'll get into more next show when we do like the later round stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I definitely think that we can get those starter types out of this draft, both those positions.
All right. Yeah. Well, for me, I want to get 2 starters out of the draft as far as the O line's concerned, and definitely a starting wide receiver, and maybe even 2 starting wide receivers, depending on what happens with Robbie Anderson or whatever. We already have Crowder, who's one of the best slots, or has the potential to be one of the best slot receivers in the game. And if we can get an offensive tackle, a center, of course we've got, as it is right now, a little bit over 52 million in free agency money. Once we make some cuts, it could jump as high as like 70, 72. We really need to make it be a major push at signing these free agents as far as the O line is concerned, so that we can have a blend of just blue chip guys that we just drafted, and just really good veterans in there to kind of just build with. And honestly, I think that we can just fix this O lineman in this one year. We can't fix the whole team in one year, but we can make this Jets offensive line be a top 10 offensive line, I think, through free agency and this draft if we get these picks that we're talking about. I think we have potential to be a top 10 O line and a top 10 like being at like number 10, not number one,
Sure.
but like number 10, borderline
Yeah.
10, 11.
Yeah,
You know?
they got to gel and work together and stuff. So you only
Absolutely.
get that from working year in and year out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? And our GM, he's built that way. They say that he's huge on building fronts, whether it be the O line or the D line. And I'm kind of like that too. I like to establish fronts. So for this, we need to establish our offensive front. And he's a former O lineman, and I really hope that he's thinking like me.
I don't. Not completely though.
Always.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, fellas. So hey, I have in our little write up here that I have a tweak me, peek me. So Brian, if you can cue up that music real quick, you know what I mean. And since I'm on remote, give me the point when that thing is warmed up because I'm gonna start this off with a tweak me, peek me.
That's right.
All right. Yeah.
Yo.
That certainly does not tweak me. BKBK loves the kids. So you know
what up,
that
Viv?
we love him more than Marty Marr. And you know what? It wasn't Viv. It was Kyle. It was Kyle's baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I got the door closed too, and
Yeah,
it's,
you know,
They're up early.
my sweet girl, my newborn Vivian, who was just born February 26th. She's upstairs with mom and her big sister Alana and her
Yeah.
big brother Liam. So while I'm downstairs in the basement
That's dope.
doing the show, yeah, man. So she's sweet, man, and man, I can't, I'm just blessed, man. And so is Brian, with his little bit over a month old. Well, actually, it's like more like 6 or 7 weeks old now, right, your boy?
Like
6
five,
weeks?
between
5?
5 and 6, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah.
So that certainly doesn't tweak us.
Not at
That
all.
peaks us. So I'm going to start off with the peak. Yeah, I've already kind of alluded to it. My peak is basically the birth of my newborn daughter, Vivian Patricia Phillips. And thank you, Lord, for just the blessings. And we're just super happy. And we just thank you. And thank you to everyone that reached out and wished us well. And I want to give Brian, a shout out as well, because just a month earlier, his son Lennox was born as well. So we're going to have 2 additional Jet fans, brought into the family here. So
That's right.
Yeah,
terrible
man.
that we put that on them. They don't have
Yes.
to do that. Yes.
Well, you know what? Liam has thoroughly turned me down.
No daddy,
You know?
no daddy, no daddy.
He's like, no. And I turned him off because I was in the basement making noise, yelling, "Come on, Sanchez," and all that other stuff. And it completely turned him off. So Liam is a baseball guy. He's a Yankee fan. So I did something right.
Sure.
Yeah.
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 Laszlo likes the Yankees and the Seahawks now. So.
Now he likes the Hawks. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't blame him. You know what I mean? But stick with one New York team at least, right?
Yeah.
So that's what piques me, okay? And now what tweaks me is you 3 turkeys. How about that? Yeah, you 3 turkeys getting on my case before
Gobble,
the
gobble,
cameras are
baby.
rolling. Before the camera were rolling, as they're rolling, you know what I'm saying? And then guarantee you, audience at home, when we cut cameras, they're gonna be on my case. But you know what? I love them to death. They're my brothers, so you guys don't really pique me that much, if at all. So just wanted to just put that out there for comedic effect.
I got a tweak.
What up?
I got a tweak, and I want to get it in before anybody else does.
Okay,
Go
you know
get
it's
yours.
coming.
We know what
I
it
think we're
is.
there. Yeah.
My tweak is Quinn and Tons of Guns Williams.
Coming in guns
and,
blazing, huh? Gotcha.
And his the Young Guns. Listen. You can't try to get on a plane with a gun.
Not in
Even if it's not
New York,
loaded.
you can't.
Even if it's not loaded.
Not in New York, you can't. Ugh.
I don't care what it is. Yeah, whether it was a mistake,
It was a mistake. It was a mistake.
Whatever it turns out to be, Brandon, it's gonna cost our starting D line games.
Yes, it is. It's unfortunate, but you cannot compare him to Plaxico. He wasn't in the club. His gun wasn't loaded, and he didn't accidentally shoot himself in the leg. So let's not.
I'm not going to compare him to Plaxico. I'm going to compare him to Ed Oliver, who is a far better player. Who's up in Buffalo, eating chicken wings, minding his own business, getting ready to beast out on the Jets next year for Buffalo, while Quentin Williams gets his braces tightened and sits out.
So now, Captain Kyle McKenna, you are going from, okay, I just happen to like Ed Oliver better, to flat out hating on Q Williams.
Well, I mean, I didn't hate him before he took the gun to the LaGuardia.
All right, listen.
I mean, LaGuardia is a rough place. Maybe you need something inside of LaGuardia,
No, you haven't seen the new LaGuardia, Kyle. It's awesome, man. You know what I
mean? They did a
Shack
Saturday Night Live musical on LaGuardia. No, the Shake Shack is at Kennedy, isn't it?
I like a
There's
nice
definitely
Shake
one
Shack.
at Kennedy. I don't.
There's a Blue Smoke at Kennedy.
I think maybe is it a Chick-fil-A? I don't know. Whatever. They got some nice. Yeah, they got some nice food options there, LaGuardia.
But, so you mean they don't have like the exposed ceiling with the wires coming out of it anymore? Like
maybe they've covered those up.
Missing tiles. A big old leak. Big old leak there.
They put a tarp over that, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Just keep walking.
It's under construction.
Keep walking.
Man.
Exactly.
No. In all seriousness, I like the kid Quentin Williams. Less than Ed Oliver, but I like him, and it's just so unfortunate. Think about this: have we had a starting unit in the last 3 seasons, in the beginning of the year, that hasn't had at least one suspension on it that has cost us a starter? I know last year we had Herndon suspended for the first 4 games. Year before that,
that Robbie? Was Robbie suspended the year before that?
I know we had a defensive starter that was suspended, and I can't remember who it was.
I trust what you're saying.
Who's the dude that was driving the wrong way?
Oh, that guy
in the tunnel.
He's not even on
that's Dylan. That's Dylan Donahue. He had a bad drinking problem.
Yeah.
Had to go to rehab. He was in the AAF. Was the last place I saw him. He had 3 sacks in a game.
He's not in the league. Not this one anyway.
Nah,
might be in the XFL maybe.
Sure. Wherever you get a
not starting there. Really.
My problem with that is 2 things. What would you think? Are you not smart enough to know that you can't bring water on a plane or go take water through security? Yo, how are you going to get a gun through security?
Facts. Facts right there, man.
So are you just not bright enough? Are you just not bright enough to know that?
You can't bring too much lotion.
Right.
You can't moisturize on it.
But here's the thing, guys. Hold on now. Hold on. Yes. Okay, with the water, with the lotion, right? Blase blah, whoop-de-woo.
He's getting serious here, fellas.
Blase blah, right?
We are continuing to tweak him.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can't do that when you are when as a carry-on, okay? With the water, with the lotion. And Q Williams had his gun. It was not loaded. There was no ammo in the bag or even on his person, and he checked it in. So it's not like he used it as a carry-on. So to say,
sure?
and I am 100% sure. I can send you the article.
Please do.
Okay, I will. And so basically the question is...
So you're saying he tried to check it?
No. He tried to travel with his gun, but it was a checked bag.
So he tried to check the gun in a bag that was being checked.
Right.
But it wasn't carry-on. You guys are making it seem like it's carry-on because
I heard he was trying to put that on the
Well, here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. You can check a bag that has lotion in it. You can check a bag that has water in it, but you can't bring it as a carry-on.
I thought you were trying to bring it on as a carry-on.
So basically, you guys were equating it with that. So I just wanted to.
I thought that's what's happening. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean,
I'm clearing it up for you.
A was funny. So if that was funny. I get it. But I think B.
Secondly, hold on 1 second, B. Secondly, he's a 22-year-old kid.
Yep.
He is licensed and registered in Alabama.
Yeah,
he lives in Jersey. Mm-hmm. Jersey may have different laws than New York, so he's crossing state lines. and there may have been, a misperception or a mistake for something, that is legal in one sense and then turned out to be illegal in another, unbeknownst to him. So I'm not going to question his intelligence or his character. I'm going to look at this as just a mistake, and hopefully he learns from it and we can progress on, because the kid is a good kid.
Oh, absolutely. I don't.
So you think they won't suspend him for 2 games?
I didn't say that.
Okay, so I don't really care what you did.
Yeah, it's still impacting the squad, right? At the end of the day, it's still
I care because character means a lot in the locker room, and he's a good kid. And you know what? Basically, if he did more, if there was ammo, if there was this and that, if he tried to do it as a carry-on, he'd be serving a longer suspension. So now, it's being condensed down to something that's manageable. I don't know what it's going to be. He's still probably going to get suspended. I understand that he broke the law. But the good thing about his type and his character is he'll probably just accept it and then move on. And that's what I like about people like him.
And apologize.
Of course, apologize. He made a mistake. You apologize.
My point is this, and this is going into like the text stream and saying like it's not even going to be a blemish on his character. And I can't agree with that, because when you draft these guys, you vet them so that they don't cost you games in this type of way. You don't want to sign people that are going to do things that make it so that they get suspended.
But Kyle, what did he do that was something like against his, say, character? Like
we are felony, Brandon. He did a felony.
Right.
It's not a felony, Kyle.
It could be. It's
Kyle, it is not a felony.
We don't.
It is a felony now until it gets dropped down.
Right. You are incorrect. It is. He broke the law, but it is not a felony because there was no ammunition on his person or in the check bag. Okay, it was unloaded and it was registered just from a different state, and he's got a legal permit from a different state. You know what I'm saying? But this isn't a character issue. This is more of a mistake because we are not perfect beings. He did everything legally according to his young 22-year-old mind. And you know what? You learn lessons in life. You learn hard lessons in life.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Which means it was illegal. So he didn't do anything.
I know it's
he
illegal.
didn't do anything legally, because you just said he did things legally based on his 22-year-old mind, but it was illegal.
In Alabama, I'm saying.
Okay, well
in Alabama.
Well, if you're in Alabama, then you do like Alabama does. But
I'm not trying to be judgmental.
40s and everything, and more so for Kerry. But haven't you guys made a mistake?
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying that the guy.
Nobody's getting on the kid saying that he's not. It's a mistake. We all are there. What we're doing it's a Jets podcast. We're talking about how it's impacting the Jets, and it's impacting us, and it impacts the team. And so
I'm admitting all of this is impacting this, but the way that it's being. I mean, honestly, the way that Kyle kind of presented it, questioning his intelligence, and you too, Brian, questioning his intelligence and borderline his character, I kind of had to step in and be like, I don't agree.
I don't know if I said that. I think that was more.
Well, I'm definitely questioning his intelligence.
But
I'm definitely questioning his intelligence with trying to bring a gun on a plane, or at least not clarifying what you can and can't do before you do it.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I would say in his defense, and I don't know if this happened or not, but he had to have gotten it up here somehow. So if he had a legal permit,
unless he bought it here,
might have drove it up here. Might have drove it here.
It would be licensed here if he bought it here.
Yeah, but my point, right? But if he had an Alabama permit for it, right? He had to register that particular weapon in Alabama. It's there was a scenario that he could have checked it on the way up here.
That's true, because it is legal in Alabama. Maybe what he needed to do when he's now in New York and flying out of New York is make sure that his paperwork was right for leaving New York with that weapon.
Right.
Sure.
So I mean, I don't feel like I'm being overly judgmental when I question somebody's intelligence for their procedures for bringing a gun on a plane. I don't think that's overly judgmental. I think that is
for a 21-year-old, maybe.
I mean, you guys ever hear the story about pre 9/11 and how many people took guns on planes pre 9/11? That's a whole nother thing. But but as far as the blemish on his character, is there.
Right. Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
is, and that's the thing. It's like I deal with people that make mistakes all the time. I was a dean of students for 12 years.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not an ultimate character thing as far as like this is going to shape who you are from this point forward, but it is going to shape the narrative going forward because if anything else happens, it always reverts back to the anecdote.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
but this
yeah.
happened before,
I,
and now this happened, and now we got a
yeah.
problem.
It's a
So
part
if
of the. It's a
nothing
part of
else
the
ever happens,
overall
then it's
narrative. It's a part of the overall narrative. But I think there's a difference.
yeah,
There's a difference between character and judgment, right?
yeah,
With good judgment comes experience, and if he makes these kinds of mistakes over and over again, then you might be able to
Right.
chalk it up
Sure.
as being a character flaw.
Sure.
But if he just had a time when he just didn't use good judgment as a 21-year-old,
Sure.
then we're not going to hold it against him going
Sure.
forward.
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
let me be very clear. Let me be very clear about there is my comic relief in the whole ongoing Ed Oliver thing.
Sure.
That I may be playing that up a little bit. In all seriousness, I don't hold this against the kid. The kid didn't do anything to anyone.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Dylan
That's all I'm
Donahue.
trying to say.
then,
Dylan
Kyle,
And
Donahue.
if we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about your guy. What was he doing on the sidelines with a coat when the coach told him to take it off?
What are you talking about?
You're talking about Joe Namath?
No, I'm talking about Ed Oliver.
You're
And
talking about Ed
he was
Oliver.
like in the face of the coach and stuff afterwards or whatever. It was just a bizarre scene and scenario.
Don't say nothing bad about Ed Oliver.
Funny. Look, Kyle, do you have a pygmy?
Don't you?
We spent
That's
20
Joe-
minutes talking about
that's 2020 Joe Klecko.
Yeah,
Don't
tweet.
say nothing about Ed Oliver.
Funny.
No, I think that I just really I hope that the kid learns from the thing. He didn't do anything to anybody. When we talk about the Dylan Donahue thing, that guy driving the wrong way drunk in the
Right.
in the Holland Tunnel
Wow.
could have killed people.
Right.
That
He
is
could-
a
he
character
could've-
issue right there.
Yeah, and he's probably hasn't gotten. I don't know if he's cleaned up his life too. Like maybe that's the case. But like I just I'm pissed off that a starter's gonna get suspended for 2 games
I think
at least.
I think we're all on the same page. I just think it was the nuanced approach that I needed to just say something. But we're all on the same page. We're disappointed. We don't want to lose, our highest defensive draft pick in
Sure.
like ages,
Sure.
and someone who we still believe can make a huge impact, and it's just going to delay things.
Right.
When you're this
Yeah.
young, you need as many reps as possible to develop that rhythm, and then to potentially to come to your full potential. But anyway, listen, I'm glad we hashed that one out. I loved it. Great show, guys. And just want to just give thanks to the audience and fans of the BKBK podcast. Thanks for watching another episode of the BKBK podcast. We want to be able to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints of where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. So keep watching. You can find us on Facebook on our BKBK podcast fan page, Twitter on @BKBK podcast, Instagram @BKBK podcast, as well as on YouTube. Just type in the BKBK podcast, hit the like and the subscribe button for us, and keep watching. And also, if you can't watch us, you can just listen to us on iTunes. Go to bkbkpodcast.com. I'm sorry, bkbkpodcast.podomatic.com. And that's it, guys. So great show today. Great discussions.
Yep.
And let's go Jets. Let's go Baldwin Bruins. Let's go Lady Bruins and Boy Bruins. All righty for the advancement of the Baldwin Bruins basketball team for the
Good
ladies.
luck.
That's
young
right.
men.
That's
Good
right.
luck.
6
Yeah,
Keep us
man.
posted,
Nassau
Kerry.
Coliseum. Definitely will. I'll send you guys out text messages about it.
You got it, man. Yes, sir. And we would shout Knicks out, but I don't know what's going on with them.
That was about tweak me. We'll cover that the next time.
We'll cover that the next time. And
I stand with Spike. I stand with Spike.
Yep. And we want Judge to heal up as well. Yankees. All righty. So all love. Cue that theme music, B. We're out.
That's right.